You walk out of the room for 30 seconds, maybe to grab something from the kitchen, maybe to answer the door, maybe just to use the bathroom, and before you even make it down the hall, you hear it. That cry, not a hungry cry, not a tired cry, that specific, urgent, heartbreaking cry that only happens when you disappear from sight. And you stand there for a moment caught between going back and letting it play out, between guilt and reassurance, between your instinct and everything you have ever been told about independence and spoiling and not creating bad habits. And somewhere underneath all of that, there is a question you have probably never fully answered. Why does my baby do this? What is actually happening inside them when I leave? Is something wrong? Am I doing something wrong? Today, I am going to answer that question completely. And I promise you, what you are about to hear is not what most people think. In fact, for most parents, understanding the real reason behind this behavior changes everything. Not just how they respond to their baby, but how they feel about themselves as a parent. So stay with me, because this is one of those things that once you understand it, you cannot unsee it, and your baby needs you to understand it. Let's start at the very beginning, because to understand why your baby cries when you leave, you first need to understand something about how a baby experiences the world. And it starts with a concept that most parents have never heard of, but once they do, everything clicks into place. It is called object permanence. And in the earliest months of life, your baby does not have it. Object permanence is the understanding that things continue to exist even when you cannot see them. When you put a toy under a blanket, a young baby does not look for it. To them, it is simply gone. It has ceased to exist, and here is the part that changes everything. For the first several months of your baby's life, the same is true of you. When you leave the room, you do not just go somewhere else. In your baby's experience, you disappear entirely. You stop existing. The person who feeds them, who holds them, who smells like safety and sounds like home, that person is simply gone, and they have no way of knowing if you're ever coming back. Now think about that for a moment. Really sit with it. Imagine being in a world where the person you love most simply vanishes without warning, and you have no concept of time, no language to process what is happening, no way to understand that they will return. What would you do? You would cry. You would cry as loudly and as urgently as you possibly could, because that cry is not manipulation. It is not a bad habit. It is survival. It is your baby doing the only thing they know how to do when the most important thing in their world disappears. But here is where it gets even more interesting, because around 8 to 10 months, something remarkable happens. Object permanence begins to develop. Your baby's brain reaches a new level of cognitive maturity. They begin to understand that when you leave, you still exist somewhere. And you would think that this development would make the crying stop. But for most babies, it actually gets more intense, and there is a very specific reason for that. Before object permanence, your baby cried because you were gone, and they had no concept of your return. But now they know you are out there somewhere. They understand that you exist. They just cannot get to you, and they have just developed enough awareness to understand that your absence means separation. Real, conscious, felt separation. This is the stage that developmental psychologists call separation anxiety. And it is not a problem. It is not a regression. It is not something that needs to be fixed. It is one of the clearest signs that your baby's brain is developing exactly the way it should. The intensity of that cry, the way your baby reaches for you, searches for you, calls for you, is a direct reflection of how deeply attached they are to you. And attachment, real, secure attachment, is the single most important foundation you can build for your child's emotional future. Now here is the part that most parents never hear. And this is the part I really need you to stay with, because it changes the way you see every single one of those moments. When your baby cries as you leave, they are not trying to manipulate you. They are not testing boundaries. They are not being difficult. They are communicating something that they have no other way to say. They are saying, "You are the most important thing in my world, and I need to know you are coming back." That cry is an expression of love so pure and so uncomplicated that if an adult expressed it, we would call it devotion. Your baby is not insecure because they cry when you leave. They are attached. They have formed a bond with you that is so strong, so real, so central to their sense of safety that your absence triggers their entire alarm system. That is not weakness. That is love. And the way you respond to it in these early months shapes something that will follow your child for the rest of their life. Research in developmental psychology, some of the longest-running studies ever conducted on human emotional development, has shown that babies whose distress is consistently responded to with warmth and reassurance develop into children who are actually more independent, not less. More confident, more willing to explore, more resilient when things get hard. Because they learn something at the most fundamental level of their development, that when they reach out, someone comes, that the world is responsive, that they are worth responding to. This is called secure attachment, and it is built not in grand gestures, not in perfect parenting, but in exactly these moments. The moment you hear that cry and you go back, the moment you pick them up and say, "I am here. I did not disappear. I came back." Every single time you do that, you are writing something into your baby's nervous system. You are telling them, you can trust the world. You can trust the people who love you. You are safe. And that message, repeated over and over in the ordinary moments of early childhood, becomes the lens through which they will see every relationship they ever have. So what do you actually do when your baby cries as you leave? There are a few things that research and experience consistently show make a real difference. The first is something called the goodbye ritual. Many parents, trying to avoid the tears, start sneaking out. They wait until the baby is distracted and slip away without a word. And it makes sense as an instinct. If they don't see me go, they won't cry. But what actually happens is the opposite. Babies who are snuck away from become hypervigilant. They learn that people can disappear without warning, and so they become anxious about letting you out of their sight at all because they never know when you might vanish. Instead, say goodbye. Every time. Even when it is hard, even when it makes them cry. A warm, consistent, calm goodbye. "I am going now, I will be back, I love you," teaches your baby something that sneaking away never can. It teaches them that your departures are predictable, that they are not sudden disappearances, that you are someone who tells the truth about coming and going. And over time, that predictability becomes its own form of security. The second thing that helps is something called the return ritual. When you come back, even from a short trip to another room, make it count. Not dramatically, not with overwhelming energy that spikes their nervous system, but warmly, consistently. "I came back. I always come back." That simple, repeated experience of you leaving and returning is literally how your baby builds the cognitive and emotional understanding that absence is temporary. Every return you make is a deposit into their sense of security. Every time you walk back through that door, you are proving something to them that they cannot yet fully conceptualize, but are beginning slowly and beautifully to feel in their bones. And the third thing, and this one is for you as much as it is for your baby, is to stop treating this behavior as a problem to be solved. Your baby is not broken. You have not created a clingy child by responding to their needs. You have not failed by having a baby who loves you so much that your absence undoes them. What you have done by simply showing up and being present and coming back every single time is given your baby the most important gift a parent can give. You have made yourself someone worth crying for. And one day, sooner than you think, faster than feels possible, They will walk out of the room without a second glance. They will run toward the world with confidence and curiosity and an unshakable sense that they are loved. And when that day comes, you will understand that it did not happen in spite of all those tearful goodbyes. It happened because of them. Because every time they called for you and you came back, they learned something true. The people who love you do not disappear forever. They always find their way back to you.